I love tippity-tap-tapping. And that has nothing to do with part 3 of daily 685, where we learn to be a better gamer in a 2v2 fashion. Took a pretty in-depth look at the sexy tactics that were used in that initial game. Same map, same story, different players. We have Acer Inertio as a Terran, and we have Acer Paranoid as a Protoss. Again, looking at the map, what fast Terran units can join up with fast Protoss units? I mean, look, let me just tell you the fast units. Zerglings, Hellions, Roaches with speed. Kind of Stalkers if you're close together. Ta-da! And those 4 units define an absolute double butt fuckload of what 2v2 is. I don't know why I got so vulgar out of nowhere, but you know what? Not a lot of people make it to part 3. The people who do get here are the people who know who I am. So, great, good. Those are the big ones. And what this means is that for Team Acer, Protoss, Stalker, Hellion, obviously not going to work on this enormous size of map. And as much as you might want to say something like, ooh, if I build a pylon right here, then I can warp in. Well, cool, that's still a defensive technique. We can't chase people down with Stalkers and Hellions. So we already know that Team Acer is almost exclusively committed to doing something very defensive. So cool, we have a Zerg Terran down here as well. Overlord placement abounds. Overlord placement that I really like sending in here, actually coming over here, sending in like this and pulling back. Second Overlord I'd probably want to have down here, because seeing positioning is more important than anything. Case could be argued for checking these gas geysers, but if you just get a fast army, you're going to draw out his build order right away. So what I think that Paranoid and Inertio do is the start of something beautiful. Really just fantastic, gorgeous play. Vortex is not going for 10 pool. He's just going Speedling, while Hero Marine is going for Gas First Hellion, which is totally fantastic still. 10 pool, 10 factory, or excuse me, 10 pool fast factory is really great, but that's not the only build order. The more important thing is the concept. The concept of just having a whole lot of Lings with a whole lot of Hellions. So I also want to take a look at what we're going to be seeing out of Paranoid, which is a lot less of a deliberate rush to air. It'll eventually be air, but this is a game where I want to talk a little bit about transfer. I'll tell you right away, our aggressors on the right win, and that will color your perception a lot. And you might even say you're going to become a biased viewer, and I'd be like, great, that's exactly the goal of saying that. But I also don't want you to fall into the trap of thinking that somehow this Inertio and Paranoid team is doomed by some measure. What we're going to see out of Inertio is blue flame Hellions, made in huge quantities. Look at that. Already another refinery going down. Defensive positioning. We already see everything being held back. Mothership core from Paranoid. Why a delayed assimilator? Because he's going to be chrono boosting out Warp Gate as fast as he can. Mothership core is going to be floating like crazy in between these two positions. That actually really makes me sick to watch. Yeah, between these two positions. So Vortex does what any reasonable person would do, go for speed and build a lot of Zerglings. This is, I'd almost call it like a vestigial expansion. This is an expansion that does nothing but build Lings for most of the damn time. Cool, we see gateways coming up from Paranoid. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Now let's note again, aggressor at the 5-minute mark. Not mining gas, 1 mining gas. Does Hero Marine have to build Marines right now? Yes. Yes, he does, because Oracles are a huge freaking threat. A huge threat technically, you could say he knows a lot of his information that he's gathered and he can delay a bit. Those are nuanced details. What you need to take away is, at some point, you got to get a damn Oracle answer. And guess what? A mine is not going to cut it. Building a mine to deal with an Oracle in a 2v2 is basically like writing a love letter and sending it to any address because maybe the love of your life lives there. I don't know. Maybe this one mine, which sacrifices a huge amount of investment in this aggression and harassment, trying to pressure my opponents. I mean, even though we've sacrificed workers to do an attack, even though our economy's battered to do an attack, let me just hope that getting this one mine will kill one Oracle, and then he'll stop. Maybe he will cancel his second Oracle mid-production and go, oh, it's not worth it, he built a mine. There's a lot of hope going in there. I made a needlessly dramatic story, so remember that mines kinda stink as a quick and dirty answer. They're certainly fine at some point. Early game, don't do this. Oh, let's just whip a mine out. Let's cut the Marines. Just build the Marines. Well, let's build it. You're not going to expand anytime soon. You're not going to expand anytime soon. What are you saving money for? What, are you trying to send your children to college? You can't do that with minerals. You play way too many video games. Minerals for the college? What? What? Let me just do a brief note. Very often, on maps where there is a shared choke, opening up for 2 factories with no reactor and 1 tech lab for Blue Flame is very strong. Very, very strong, because you are able to control with the Blue Flame Hellions and then suddenly be going double tank production in a very efficient manner. So that's really great. But in the case of this game, what's really going on? So we say that counterplay is a very important part of the defending team. What's Nerchio doing? He's saying, well, I'm going to get Blue Flame, so I alone have so many Hellions, I can hold off both your Hellions and your Zerglings. And then my ally will do one of 2 things. He either gets a whole bunch of gateway units, and then we do a gateway unit Blue Flame Hellion push, or he can do some counterplay while the aggression ramps up. It all depends on what the aggression of the enemies is. If they're really aggressive, then Paranoid is going to be all about counterplay. If they're not really that aggressive, then it's going to be Blue Flame Hellion push stuffs all day long. So, let's go to the Nerchio camera. I think this cutoff is nifty. This is a pseudo-tense situation. It's not really tense. I think this is a great move for these players, and why is that? I think this is a good opportunity, well, without that wall off, this is a good opportunity to pick up free kills. Why would that be good? Because in a little bit, we, aka Team Acer, we want to be going out and being on the aggression. I want to emphasize how unbelievably thin my statement is there. What I said, I stated it like it was like, oh yeah, obvious, he's going to pick up some unit kills. But in that statement, going to pick up some unit kills. The absolutely freaking critical assumption is that just these Hellions from Team Acer, plus the Mothership Core from Team Acer, can kill everything that's been seen. Let me do a counterexample, simply by backing up. Suppose for a moment that this was it, 4 Hellions. That this Hellion wasn't coming, and this Hellion wasn't coming. Suppose that for the time being. Then this is horrific. Because 4 Hellions, plus Zerglings to surround, means that these are guaranteed to die. So let me synthesize those into two statements. If you are intending or are in the state of being the aggressor, you and your ally join together, trying to do a 2v1 twice. If you're doing that, it's great to pick off units because it will help with your goal of splitting your enemy up so you can 2v1 twice. The second one is, if you're going to go pick off units, only do it if you can. I know that sounds like really easy, like right now, but there's going to be a time when you are Nerchio and you're like, oh yeah, let me just go up here, let me try to help my ally stay alive. You're basically in 2v2, you're never trying to save your ally. Just don't think it. You're not trying to save your ally. You're trying to leverage the fact that he's dying slowly. So this is not saving my buddy. Obviously, that's a big overstatement. There certainly are times to save your ally, but it's just not that important. Because Nerchio has these backup guys, he is looking for big, fine and juicy profit. And even then, it's very thin. You heard me say, ooh, until that pylon went down. That's because we want Paranoid to have a nice home to be able to walk up into. So cool. Blue Flame Hellions almost popping out. We can see now why it was very, very important for these to pop out quite early. But another thing that's very, very, very unbelievably freaking common is Nerchio being late on when he gets this engineering bay. This is so freaking common. This Stargate is... I think this is kind of a questionable move. Because at this point in the game, we don't see more Lings darting in here. We have a pretty good sense that there's not a lot of continued aggression. In fact, we see this. We see Marines. One of two things needs to happen. This team needs to go now, Paranoid and Nerchio, because they're seeing a cessation of aggression. They're seeing a halt. Clearly there is some next step going on, such as the Zerg player droning up, or the Terran player beginning to expand, or the Terran player adding on more production structures. One of those thingies has got to be going on. So Team Acer can elect to attack now, or to expand themselves and to build infrastructure themselves. Nothing wrong with continuing to build Hellions. It's going to have a lot of value, but again, no turret in here hurts a lot. And this Stargate is a little bit questionable. Why are we getting the Stargate? Because counterplay, because it's unlikely for them to have a lot of anti-air. Is that likely right now? Well, upon that scan, like, very no. Unbelievably, superbly no. So it's just kind of an ugly spot. By the way, all of these rocks are destructible. Like, every single one can be shot down. So this is one of these moments that's a little tragic. That's like, yeah, I mean, I forgot it, and yeah, that happens. I'm not really super mind blown about this as like a key reliable play. A Cloak Banshee is almost always going to be good because it shoves back while you are doing it. I don't think of Cloaked Banshees as an aggressive move. I think of it as a nice step ladder to some future profitable play.
Base is under attack.
We can see that Nerchio is almost able to solo this. And Paranoid, who's walled himself in, is, you know, defending. But when the Oracle moved in, it got 5 kills, which is a very average amount of kills for an Oracle to get. And I think that the aggro team is just doing a very smart job. Just, you know, getting roaches and continuing to apply pressure. And applying pressure, I mean, we talked about this before, about the 2v1 twice. Roaches with speed Zerglings, Hellions. Very hard for Nerchio to do much about this because these Hellions are here to push back everything but roaches until our good buddy Paranoid can come to save us. Oh, holy Paranoid. Oh, Paranoid of holiness and light. So, I also want to step over to the Team Mouse and look at them because I'll just tell you that they win shortly thereafter. So we can take a look at the Vortex team. This is a nice play. Fast Zergling speed first, then expand. It gives you lots and lots of options. You kind of have to rely heavily on having a very competent Terran teammate that can work well with you to be aggressive, because the aggression is what will get you your read on your opponent. That's where you will get the opportunity to see what the heck's going on. So Terran is going gas. You know what? He's going Hellion. Dude, there's not much more about it. And he can't be getting Hellions faster than my ally is getting Hellions, because my ally is getting Hellions as fast as possible. I love easy timing techniques. Can he have Hellions yet? I don't know. Does my ally have Hellions? No? Okay, then the enemy can't have Hellions. Boom! Science! We learned things with the power of science. So cool, we're just going to triumphantly trudge our way over to this Protoss base. We're going to witness what's going on. We see Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate. Very useful fact. Not a big deal. Very difficult for a Protoss Terran combo to really, like, do much here. To really have an effective time. Often, it's okay to just wall off right now. If you think that your enemies are doing something super aggressive, you can just double Stargate. Even if it's like a temporary aggression. You can double Stargate or stop chronoing and single Stargate and just go absolutely nuts. So, great. I mean, aggression coming out. Already creating the step ladder. Again, the Zerg is almost never going to be the guy who's developing early on, even when they do this sort of hatch thing. So I like this. Just flooding lanes, very easy choice. Looking around, trying to bait some stuff out. Great. And then instantly just, alright, let's go. And then let's look what's happening up here on the Vortex side of things. This is right when he starts to drone. This is a big sign that Paranoid ain't feeling so nice. Something went wrong. Warp Gate is like very far behind. It should be done right now, in all honesty. Again, unless you've already pre-gone for air. I mean, Vortex is just doing such just a home run play. He's just droning. Oh god. Oh god, I hit the wrong button. Oh my god, I meant to hit D. There we go. I got the chance to hit D. This is hey, we actually did a lot of damage. Nice sort of move. And then very simple answer from Vortex. Oh geez, this fool's going for mass Hellion. Now there's something that we've talked about from the Zerg context, and we can talk about it from the Terran one now. When a Zerg goes 10 pool, he's investing all of his available funds to getting those Zerglings out. Like 100% of his cash to Zerglings. But we're against a Terran now. Who's going for 3 factories? There's going to be 2 factories. Can you hear me? How long has it been bad? All right. Looks like the sound went busto. Does it sound good now? Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I don't really know. So I'm going to say the same thing I said, but in a non-warbly fashion. We talked about something from the Zerg point of view. If Zerg goes 10 pool, he's committing all his available resources to going Lings. Same thing is going on here with Terran. He's gone for 3 Hellions at a time. All his available resources are going for that. Answer it head on. Great. We're really up against one player, it looks like. Hero Marine and friends doing good control at the front. A little bit of scouting, never hurt anybody. But just like mass uniting. Simple spotters, vision. So important, vision absolutely everything. So there's sort of like a pre-preparation here. This is, again, a nice, just simple counterplay. Look, you might be building up stuff to hurt us. And a Banshee is a really flexible tool to keep you battered down. If you're teching. To defend with my units if you're attacking. I mean, a Cloaked Banshee is just a very reliable unit in this matchup, in this position. But I mean, this is just so smart. Just drubbing this Blue Flame Hellion play. And Lou is just chilling back, like, yeah, no, I totally know that you can. Totally, you can get oracles. I agree with you. This is just very straightforward. Super late layered when you talk about 1v1 standards, but this is still really only going for roach speed right now. So in this position, if I'm on Team Mouse Sports, what I'm thinking is, alright, we killed one player. We better just keep churning out as many units as possible. So that way we can overwhelm his better, cleaner, more elegantly constructed army with just a brunt, overwhelming amount of shitty units. I think that it is incorrect to be droning excessively here. It's incorrect to be, like, doing anything but focusing on maximum unit production. Incorrect to maybe try to throw down another command center or to go double engineering bay. Don't. If you are ever in a literal 2v1, as in one player's dead, just flood the other guy. Because right now you have 4 bases of resource. If you're 0-0 and your opponent's 3-3 on 2 base, you will still win with 4 base. This is just great play. Just fantastic. Really great, solid, aggressive play. And now I'm done. Let's take some questions. Protoss is very hard in 2v2, to be honest. I think Terran and Zerg play much, much more straightforwardly in the matchup. Really, really great. But what we learned today is some simple ideas about the 2v1 twice, joining armies versus splitting up armies. We learned the idea of counterplay being a very effective tool against people who are aggressive. And we saw this sort of interesting step laddering of tech. A Zerg staying flat on tech while a Terran's just trying to get ahead a little bit. And then, okay, Marines medevacs are out. And Zerg's starting to inch up. Okay, hold on a little bit. Alright, okay. It's not this mass. Alright, it's time for everyone on the team to tech. Time for everyone on the team to focus heavily on building drones and expanding. I mean, we saw Vortex expand, but not even really do anything with it. Xenophobic asks, what are the best synergies of teams in 2v2s by race? Terran Protoss Mech Air is just insane. I think it's probably the strongest combo in the game, and definitely the most annoying to play against. Definitely. Jesus. Oh my god, is that annoying to play against. There's just a bunch of strategies. I think that Skymech is just insane. What are some other really sick ones? There's a lot of really good Terran feeding strategies that result in just weird crap happening. Something that I think is just generally really good is a Zerg player who plays very Zergling focused, like super aggro Zergling at the start, probably the exact opening that we saw Vortex do, and a Protoss that plays a little bit held back, and the Zerg player who's been going Zergling the first tech up step is just to go for Infestor on 2 bases. Ling Infestor without even a lot of upgrades. The important thing is the Zerglings to contain early and the Infestors to support Protoss. And if Protoss goes for a pretty standard-ish army, in particular Colossus, and there's Infestors in there, that has been, I think, a very consistently strong combination. Yeah, I really like that a lot. Winkleson, just Zergs have a pretty good advantage in 2v2 due to their mobility and Overlord scouting. Oh yeah, I mean 2v2 I think is defined by the Zerg race. Even if you're going Terran Protoss, Terran Protoss, Protoss, all your openings are, how do we deal with the Zerg player that's inevitably going to be in the game? God, I want to play 2v2s now. Call Tristan. Oh shit, he's flying. What a bastard. And turn on him in a heartbeat. My love of Tristan is dependent on how close he is to surface level. Higher altitude. Don't like him. Oh, hello, Noel. Good to see you here. And I do like your cat shirt. Oxygen Op says, would you say a double Protoss team would be the weakest? Definitely the one that I understand the least, for sure. Do I think? I don't know. I will say, Protech, who is a top 2v2 player, streams all the time. Like, he's probably streaming right now. Go to teamliquid.net and you'll see Protech there. If there's the non-Zerg teams, TT, PP, and TP, function a lot better when there's a joined basis. I don't know, that's it. Hope this was useful. If it was, I'd love to hear it, and if it wasn't, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this. I don't know, hopefully it was enjoyable. I like 2v2 a lot. Certainly don't know as much about it as 1v1. Surprise. Having done 680 episodes of 1v1, but I really think it's probably some of the most fun I've ever had playing StarCraft 2s and 2v2s. So I hope you enjoy it. Have a great show. What the fuck? Have a great night. I'm gonna go now. Woo!